Lunar Industries for turning up. Thank you very much. We had a blast making this film. I had some amazing help. We had a Mark Gordon company who sort of got me involved in the first place with Jake Gyllenhaal, and then we had Vendo who were involved in helping us put the film together and making it, and then the amazing Summit who've actually managed to let everyone in the world know that this film is coming. So thanks to all of them, and thanks to South by Southwest, and to our amazing cast of actors, Jake Gyllenhaal, Michelle Monaghan, Vera Farmiga, and Jeffrey Wright, and hopefully you'll get a chance to talk to them about it.
Well, I'm going to do a double shout out to Summit Entertainment who brought us this wonderful film, and it is, I wasn't even thinking world premiere. Yes, I got nervous and forgot that. So